issues, and a lot of people around this time are not answering as that as well. So, yeah, but thank you. So great, you voted.
Not one of those people who believe that this election was fought on a level playing field. Unfortunately, the rules were manipulated for a particular extent. And I think that the reason that we're going to get the result that we will get on Saturday is partly because it was so obvious to party members. There was in fact horror at what happened. It was a disgraceful exercise. But at least we, Jeremy and us, have fought a clean, positive campaign about the issues in this election. There will carry on being arguments in the NEC. I hope that the party will unite to do what we really need to do, and that's to be.
Watching Ken Loach from downstairs in the campaign.
Jeremy's not here yet. I don't
He is it. Jeremy's in the other room.
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Good news?
Yeah, we're busy now.
Oh my god.
So the building's been overflowing tonight. They wouldn't let any more people in.
Sorry, I just said you're coming in. Where's the light?
Did they stop the film?
I interrupted the film. Okay. Can I just... I'm sorry I'm so late. Can I just say thanks for all the telephone canvassing that you've done. I've just come up from Brixton, which is packed out. In Clapham, they've been doing the same thing, which is really good. We've got one of our comrades here who's done 1,600 calls. I don't mind taking on the 4 panel members, but to take on Dimbleby as well was a bit. It was shocking, to be frank. And what happened afterwards, Campbell got a bit emotional. Anyway, let's put it that way. My language wasn't brilliant. But there you are. Can I say on the we're trying to say to people, thanks ever so much for all they've done. The last 12 hours now before close of play, and people all around the country have been doing the telephone canvassing tonight, which has been fantastic, really. Absolutely fantastic. It's difficult to predict what will happen on Saturday, and I want to make sure that people's expectations are realistic, because I think we'll win. I think we'll win, but all the effort has been from the powers that be, the establishment within the party, to try and ensure that Jeremy doesn't get the same size of mandate. So they can argue somehow his mandate is dipped. And the way that they've done that is ruling out the 140,000 that came in from January, completely appallingly really. There's been mass suspensions and expulsions. The mass suspensions have been bizarre at times. I was saying down in Clapham, one of the people who was suspended, she contacted me and she was suspended because she'd tweeted out, "I support the Greens." And then she said, actually they've suspended me supporting the Green Party, but actually it was their son at primary school who was running in a team called the Greens because they all chose a different colour. And I've had others who were suspended on the basis that they'd checked their names, goodness knows why, on Twitter or Facebook, and it wasn't them, it was people on the same name, that sort of thing. We've been trying to get those reinstated, but you can see what's happening. They're trying to do everything they can to ensure that Jeremy doesn't get the high percentage vote that he got last time. So what we're saying to people, that I think we're on course to win, but be realistic about it with all that thrown against us. Don't let them manipulate it into somehow it's a reduction in the mandate. It won't be. Ballot papers, and we've been chasing those all today as well, and trying to put pressure on them. But there's clearly been an operation that's gone on. We can see that in terms of trying to reduce it. What do you think? But the atmosphere has been fantastic all the way through the campaign. And the numbers of people that have turned out yet again. Last year was big, but this year is bigger, and I thought people would be disillusioned having to do it all over again. But actually people have become more determined, you know, and they've come out, and what's amazing, they had the dispatches programme on last night, and there's been a rush to join Momentum. And I thought John Prescott's tweet was the best one. Yes. The last great battle to stay awake. I thought it was fantastic. The effect of the programme. Look, let me be straight with you. In the media there's been a lot of pumping up for the result on Saturday. And I think part of that's been semi-deliberate, trying to raise unrealistic expectations. I think we're going to win. But don't let them snatch sort of defeat from the jaws of victory, if you like, from us. Because what they've been trying to do is build it up so that they can then, whatever we get, anything below that, they'll try and pronounce as a defeat. Okay, so that's the tactics here. And especially they're working very, very hard to try and prevent us getting the same mandate that we got last year, and then argue that there's a loss of confidence in Jeremy or lack of a mandate, something like that. We've got to guard against that, but you know as well as I, they've thrown everything at us. Yeah. Everything, you know, 140,000 members signed up since January, not allowed to vote. Yes. What other political party recruits people, tells them they can vote in the leadership, and then tells them they can't? I think it's a disgrace, to be honest. It was done late at an NEC where people had gone on a paper laid round and a vote was 14-14 and they carried it that way. So 14 people denied 140,000 people the right to vote. Quite a number of those people then tried to pay their £25, but I had a lot of emails and correspondence from people saying, actually, I'm on benefits, I'm on low pay, and I can't afford that £25. So they were disenfranchised as a result of that. And then the other thing was the bizarre level, extraordinary level of suspensions and expulsions that have taken place, and suspensions for the bizarrest things as well. You know, they've given NEC members sheets of terms and words that can't be used, or if they are used, they're abusive, and therefore you're suspended. In natural justice, you'd advise people before. You wouldn't do that retrospectively. And as Ronnie Draper, you know, Ronnie Draper, the Bakers Union, you know, he was suspended at one point for using the word traitor, and he said, well, when we get to conference and we sing the red flag and cowards, the traitors sneer, we're all out. Despite all that, and also people not receiving the ballot paper, we've been taking that up with the Labour Party all over the last week, and we'll finish that off in the morning as well. Despite all that, I still think we're going to win. I think Jeremy will get a mandate to lead again. So the issue then is the message needs to go out to all party members and all those in the Parliamentary Labour Party now. It's unity. We unite behind the leader. Now, the members of the Parliamentary Labour Party already have contacted us saying they want to serve, they want to hold position, and I'm really grateful for that. And the new generation is emerging very rapidly as well, which is, I think, a fantastic achievement that Jeremy has done in bringing them on, preparing us for the future. But there will be some who will not want to do that. And I think what we've got to do as a movement now is to emphasise that unity message all the way through. And then prepare for a general election. May has said she won't go for an early general election, but when could you trust a Tory? So my view now is Jeremy gets elected on Saturday, we unite the party, we put the onus upon every party member, not just the members of the Parliamentary Labour Party, to come together, unite behind the leader, and then we start preparing very rapidly for the general election. And the thing about that now, 600,000 members. 600,000 members. If we keep growing like this, we could be 1 million members by the end of next year. The biggest electoral machine in the history of our party, or in the history of politics in this country. In fact, we're now the biggest party right the way across Europe. I think that means we can defeat the Tories. The big criticism in the debate, what's interesting, the leadership debate of the last few months, the most common expression used by Owen Smith is, I agree with Jeremy. Yes. Apart from Trident, on virtually every policy area that came up, there was almost unanimity. So we're united in terms of policy. The criticisms were about leadership and electability. I don't believe the electability argument, but if there are issues, there are criticisms. What we've said to them, let's be honest about this. If you've got criticisms, let's work together to overcome those weaknesses and do it as a comrades, do it cooperatively, amicably together. No one's perfect, you know, the occasional chucking about a little red book's maybe not the best thing in terms of convincing arguments, etc. But we can learn from each other, but the most important thing on Saturday, accept the mandate, accept the will of our members, unite, and then start preparing for that general election. And on that basis, I think we can win an election and start transforming the country. And I say time and time again what we're about. It's about a radical transformation. Radically fairer, more democratic, more equal, based upon a prosperous economy, but that economy that's sustainable economically and environmentally, and where that prosperity is shared by all. That's socialism. Solidarity. Well, basically the leadership election will be on Saturday. We've agreed whatever happens, whoever is the leader will unite behind that leader. We'll ensure that a debate takes place within the Labour Party at every level, from constituency right the way up to the NEC and within the Parliamentary Party, about how we maximise the democracy within our party, so that everybody then feels comfortable with that democratic system.
Let's go down, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, good. Someone needs to